Hello everyone and welcome to the first dugout of 2026. It's going to be a very action-packed 2026. There's a lot of sporting action, a lot of cricket action coming up this year, and well, we're already building up to the first bit of action that we can expect, which is of course a home white ball leg against New Zealand. We're going to see ODIs, we're going to see 5 T20Is, which will of course be the last 5 T20Is you play prior to the T20 World Cup. So plenty of exciting stuff coming up, I would say.
Yeah, the quick start in terms of cricketing action to the year pretty much sets the template, I would say, for the whole of this year, Shane, because you've got cricketing action every month, and we were counting just the number of months. That means that you and I can't go on a long leave. That's 7 of those that we could think of straight up. So yeah, and blended with that, of course, is cricketing action from the women's team as well. There's the FIFA World Cup. So it's a very interesting year, and many best wishes to our family members as well. We hope you had a good New Year's Eve and have had the bestest of starts to 2026. Wishing you all a very happy new year from everyone here at Sports Today, and lots to talk about. In fact, you talked about this being a busy season. It's been a busy start to the year as well when you talk about it from the newswheel perspective, because look how many stories we have to talk about today. There's just so much that's happened in just today, because there have been a few days in the leading up to, let's say, Jan the 2nd, that we had a few dry couple of days, but not that day today.
Oh,
there's
not at all.
Plenty that's happened on Indian shores, away from Indian shores, and yeah, there's plenty that we managed to gather as well. Some exclusive information on the availability, should I say, of a key Indian asset. We'll talk about Shreyas Iyer in just a bit. Shane has all the details on his fitness. But first, let's get the bull by the horn. It's your franchise that is making all the noise on social media. Lot being said, fairly, unfairly. We'll get into the nitty-gritties of that in just a bit. But just a few weeks back from where we are right now, there was a signing that was made. Shane was very happy about the fact that at 9.2 crore, it wasn't an awful lot of money for somebody who's a left-hander. Makes it to the 11 straight up, comes in with international experience, comes in with IPL experience as well. But the franchise now finds itself in a soup, because there are certain factions of the society that aren't particularly happy with this particular signing now because of the nationality and the religion.
Yeah, I mean, you've basically said it as it is. I mean, KKR are now being targeted and spoken out against. KKR, and I dare say team owner Shah Rukh Khan in particular, catching a lot of flack for the fact that Bangladesh international Mustafizur Rahman was signed by the team. Now, first off, let's make one thing very clear. He was available in the auction. So from a sporting perspective, there's nothing wrong. If you wanted that, you're going to make that rule that, we have strained political relations with this nation, so we're not going to include those players. You've done that with Pakistan. There hasn't been any Pakistani involvement in the IPL since 2008. First season, only season, you have kept them away since, and no one's really had a problem with it. But I do feel like, I think SRK is a soft target here. Very, very soft target. Mustafiz was playing last year for DC, he came in as a replacement player. And that was well after
JFM.
Yes, and in 2025 no less. Why was there not the same uproar then? 2024 also he was part of CSK. Of course, that was before all these issues happened. So I don't understand the selective outrage, and I do feel like Shah Rukh, who normally maintains a dignified silence through such things. It's not the first time he's being rigged up like this. He's a soft target, and I think he's just being targeted unnecessarily. The franchise, no other team owner have done nothing against the rules of the competition. Now, if arbitrarily the goalposts are being shifted, then I do think it's a rather unfair metric we're using here. Because let's face it, there were a lot of teams bidding for Mustafiz. He brings not just international experience, but even death bowling experience, which is key.
That's exactly what I was about to say, because if this Iyer is right in any which way that it is, I don't know if it is. To me, it's not. Because yes, while the circumstances may have changed, but let's be honest, the atrocities against Hindu groups has been there even before the auction. Yes, it's flared up, definitely. Those attacks have increased. But why pinpoint or why blame the franchise over here? You got a problem, take it up with the board that gave the assent for Bangladesh players to throw their hat in the ring. It's a similar thing that you do with Pakistan players. They've been banned. You've taken a stance, and while circumstances may have changed a bit, there's nothing new per se that may have happened.
Exactly, and also it is worth noting that Mustafiz was hardly the only Bangladeshi player. There were a number of them.
Yeah.
The fact that no one else got picked is pretty much an indictment of their predicament in T20 cricket more so than anything
And
else.
then why just KKR? For all those franchises, perhaps, you should be asking questions to all those franchises that had shown interest in him as well.
That included, I think, a CSK. if memory
Whatever
serves
it
me
may
right.
have been, whatever it may have been. I'm just saying, if you're just going by logic over here, if at all there was any logic, firstly, there isn't, to my in my humble opinion, there isn't any logic over here. But I respect the sentiment of the people. Understandably, they feel aggrieved with what's happening across the border. It's also unfortunate whether you look east or west.
True.
Of your border, you only get unfortunate news from either side, and yeah, my condolences to all those who feel aggrieved right now, and I'm very compassionate with this whole thing. But just singling out a franchise, singling out an owner, also when there is religion involved over here, and when you see the ownership also through that lens, then things just look completely different to how they may be actually on ground. I don't think it's fair. People have their right to be angry, but just singling out an SRK or the franchise over here, to me, doesn't sort of fit well.
Doesn't at all. And of course, we're speaking of people being singled out, Usman Khawaja announced his retirement. Not very surprising news, and I think all of us, let's be fair, kind of expected it once we got to know that he's addressing the press conference ahead of the SCG test.
Did it remind you of the moment that Ashwin was there as well?
Yes. When we got to hear about that.
When there's a senior figure like that, questions being asked, despite him scoring a couple of very good 50s earlier on in this Ashes, the age that he finds himself in right now, the point of his career where he is at right now, we sort of knew what that press conference is going to be like. What we didn't know was what he said.
I think it also shows you why they don't send Usman Khawaja to the press conferences probably. Again, I have no problem with what it is he said, because a lot of it is fairly accurate, or at least along accurate lines, and he has a right to feel the way he has. He has rather unfairly been singled out. As he pointed out, he said that, I had a actual back spasm and people were calling me lazy. He's saying other people don't get that kind of treatment. Why do I get it?
You say, get well soon, Josh. Huh? That's what he said.
He was in a fiery mood, and I don't blame him. I've had people say that, people message me and said, do you think he should have said that? I said, look, it's better he says it here to the press, whom he has that problem with, his issues with the press, by the way. And he said that the press have misrepresented me a lot of times, so he said it to the press. I'd rather say it here than say it at the post-match presentation. There it would have been an absolute firestorm. A press conference is a different matter. Here, there, people watching live, I think people would have started booing him, even if he's technically this is his home ground, lest we forget. So he's getting to go out on a high. But I think, it's fair. He said what he felt, and he's often been that kind of a person, very strong-minded individual and not afraid to mince his words. That can rub a lot of people the wrong way.
I remember his boots also made a lot of noise.
Oh, yeah.
At one point.
110%. He wasn't the only one. Moeen Ali fell in a similar trap. But yeah, I think, him saying what he said, better he got it off his chest. And because I think one thing I really liked what he said was, he's saying, I hope when the next Usman Khawaja comes about, that you guys don't look at him from this lens, that you're looking at him and you're treating them fairly, him or her. He was very, very categorical about that. Well, it'll be interesting to see though how it is he fares, because
we just spoke of the whole Mustafizur Rahman bit as well. Where global society may be headed right now.
Yeah.
While I wish that what Usman Khawaja said actually comes true, and the unfair times that he had to see, but the amount of polarization that I'm seeing right now, I think what Usman Khawaja said may just be exactly what the next Usman Khawaja also says. I
Which
just
is
see
sad,
society
which is sad.
headed in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, I understand him speaking out, but I do tend to sadly agree with where it is you're heading, because again, you're right, the kind of polarization we're seeing in society is just so easy to other someone,
Yeah.
and that's really, really unfair. But again, see, he retires also with a pretty distinguished career. He'd have played, 88 tests by the time he calls it quits, 6,000 odd test runs.
Yeah.
Not a bad career.
It was good humor from him. I think his parents were there in that press conference where he looks at his dad and says, 88 tests, I hope that's good enough, Dad.
His dad may have said, when I was your age, I played 100.
100, yeah. Very, very, I should say, subcontinental thing, right?
Yeah.
Father's not being happy with whatever you do.
When I was 5, I was 6. Always happens. Always
Yeah.
happens. But yeah, congrats, Uzi. On a very good career. And I think I liked how combative he was. He also literally told the press, he's like, don't gaslight me.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Very, very nice way of calling it out. But congrats on a very, very distinguished career, I would say. Definitely been one of those players who I think will go down as a bit on the underrated side. Always tended to give you that lazy kind of elegance.
Yeah.
Came across like that. But honestly, a very good player. Very, very good player.
Did trouble India a couple of times as well, and very good sweeper of the ball. Right head between his shoulders, and at times where he's been Australia's troubleshooter, might I add. Many a times they've needed an opener, whether he's in the reckoning or not, as was the case, I would say, for this series as well. If it wasn't for Contis, or should I say Contis, not turning out the way that the Australian cricket had hoped for, and some of the other players that they tried at the top probably wouldn't have turned back to Usman. But I like the fact that they turned back to him, and he repaid with a couple of half centuries. So good on him, and we wish him a happy retirement.
Yeah, nothing quite like actually getting to spend more time with your wife and kids. And he's a happily married man, very proud dad as well. Yeah. So, yeah, he gets time for that. But, of course, we are talking about so much news. The one thing which really got me off guard today was the exclusive inputs we got on Shreyas Iyer's potential availability. And because, I mean, I'll be honest, when that injury hit, I was like, he's missing for at least a couple of months because it's a ruptured spleen. Guy had to be in the ICU for a couple of days. The recovery in itself, I thought he'd be lucky to actually recover in the 2-3 months. Maybe he'd be touch and go for the IPL. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And in fact, what we've gotten to know is that he could actually be available to play potentially for the New Zealand series, if all things goes right, which is amazing. Because again, the update which we've got and which you can now see on your screen is that he will actually undertake 2 match simulation sessions on the 2nd and 5th of January before he will obtain clearance for the white ball format. So, but of course, this only tells us part of the story, because again, these 2 match simulation sessions also will come about as a result of some pretty hard work that he was putting in behind the scenes. Why I say that is because he ended up reporting to the Center of Excellence, the erstwhile, what was it called again? What was it called before this? The NCA. Yeah, the erstwhile NCA. He reported there Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025 was when he got there. He completed some high intensity skill sessions. And for those of you wondering what those high intensity skill sessions were, he was basically involved in high intensity batting and fielding drills, all of which he aced. So because he ended up doing so well in that, he was then told that, okay, look, your next thing is going to be match simulations, the first of which took place today on Jan 2nd, the second of which will take place 3 days on January 5th. So if he gets through both of those match simulations, fine, no problemo, he gets his white ball clearance. So that is the big news. And as I said, it was a pretty surprising update. I was expecting his injury status, his healing and everything would mean touch and go maybe before IPL, but surprised everyone.
I will have to agree with you over here. I remember speaking with the medical expert as well, the time that he picked up the injury, and I was told that not only are these injuries, if they're too bad, they can prove to be fatal, but the recovery is extremely long. And given the way that Shreyas Iyer has bounced back from what we're learning, it is stupendous on his part, and to the team that has been working with him to get him back to his feet, because that injury was bad. Those pictures were graphic. The man was writhing in pain, we know, as you said, had to be taken to the ICU. So for him to be, for such conversation to be happening around Shreyas Iyer, has to be music to the ears of Indian cricket fans and his well-wishers as well, that a player who looked like would be fighting an uphill battle to make it to IPL 2026, well, he may just be available a good couple of months before that, because you're looking at the IPL to start only around the 22nd, 23rd of March. We're sitting pretty on just the 2nd of January, so there is more than just 2 months over there, 3 months in fact over there, that Shreyas has, nearly about 3 months that he has, and yeah, he's managed to get himself in good position. We don't have, unfortunately, details about what happened in today's match simulation, but very interesting when the second match simulation is, and this is where, when you look at from the lens of the upcoming ODI assignment for India, it's on the 11th, and the announcement, as we're learning, by the way guys, tomorrow 10:30, 11 o'clock, that is when the meeting will take place, selection meeting. It's expected to be a virtual one, and yeah, on a day, just a day before Shreyas Iyer, in fact 2 days before Shreyas Iyer is scheduled to undergo his second match simulation, you have the team announcement take place. How interesting is that?
Yeah, I mean, the timing couldn't have been better or worse, keeping whatever in mind. But it'll be interesting to see, because again, the squad will be getting a major boost, I feel, because again, if you go back to that South Africa series, you had a rare instance, by the way, where both your captain and vice captain were ruled out due to injury. Gill had picked up that injury, of course, in the first test, was not available for the ODIs, so didn't play. Iyer, we know, had picked up that injury in Australia and was nowhere close to being ready at that point in time. So you had to go to a makeshift captain at KL Rahul, someone who was at this point pretty much shunned any leadership roles. And you will have both your captain, vice captain be back. That goes without saying, because Gill, we know he played the T20Is. He missed the last one, but he is set to be playing Vijay Hazare Trophy games.
He travelled for the last one, I remember.
Yeah, that was a whole different thing. Travel, fate, will he, won't he, gets dropped from the T20 side. Is there an injury? All sorts of stuff.
Somebody that I was speaking with during lunch said something very interesting, that he's really looking forward to that Shubman Gill press conference on the eve of the ODI series.
That'll be something.
So many questions that you need to ask Shubman Gill. I wonder how the young lad is going to be facing all of those. Of course, as young shoulders, but being the Indian team captain is not just a very lucrative thing, which every cricketer desires, but it's very taxing as well. And this is one bit of that he may be facing. The heat will be immense on him.
110%. I mean, especially because he'll be addressing the media for the first time since he's been dropped from the T20 side. So you just know that there's going to be questions around that.
Whether there was actually an injury or not, to what he was doing in Ahmedabad if there was an injury, to whether there was any communication or what kind of communication, or if at all there has not been any communication till now. So many questions that Shubman Gill will have to answer.
And don't forget, even his ODI captaincy career is on a very nascent stage. He was made the ODI captain specifically keeping in mind 2027. And now with him not being part of 26, I think how he does as a captain and as a player in these series is going to be under even more scrutiny, because if you're only a two format player and you're captain in both, your form is always going to be under the scanner. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. But of course, Harshad has already revealed the big news to you. We know when it is that this election will take place. Jan 3rd is what we're getting to you, which is Saturday, i.e. tomorrow. At around 10:30 a.m. will be the meeting, virtual meeting, which means that by 11:30 latest, we'll get to know what our squad looks like.
Could there, when we were building up to that press conference or the selection announcement, the last major announcement, in fact the last press conference to have happened in 2025 was the World Cup and the New Zealand T20I series squad announcement. However, while there was so much that went against the script, the inclusion of Ishan Kishan, the ouster of a Shubman Gill, so many talking points. But when you look at this ODI team, yes, T20I cricket gives you a lot of options, though it's a settled unit. But when you look at this ODI side, it's a very well-oiled machine. That's exactly what we've seen in shades of it in Australia. I would say you lost the series, so not a lot to say. But but yeah, in that ODI series against South Africa, could we say we were convinced and you necessarily, while there was a chance of you being pushed into a corner, but you managed to win that series as well.
I mean, see, let's be fair. I think ODI is the one format. White ball, really, I'd say, is the sides where you have very settled units. Even for the T20 team, you can eyes closed pick the first 11. You could have done that. When complication came was when you brought Gill in.
Yeah.
Aside from that, you could name the 11 on the back of your hand if everyone was fit and available. And I think the same is true in ODIs, doubly so because you actually have a very experienced core in ODIs as well. Of course, you've got a Rohit and you've got a Virat, you've got a KL as well. So those are three very experienced players and they're supplemented by the likes of a Shreyas Iyer and a Shubman Gill. All these guys being there. A Jadeja, don't forget.
Let's try and see. So let's do a bit of an exercise over here.
Yeah.
Let's just take our family members back to the squad that was named for the South Africa series. Remember, you played that series under the leadership of KL Rahul because Shubman Gill was missing that series because of the back spasm he'd suffered in the first test match against South Africa in Kolkata. This is what the look of that team was, and let's just try and see who do we see not making it to the New Zealand series now. Rohit Sharma makes it. How about Yashasvi Jaiswal? Do you keep him as backup? He played as an opener for you in the previous series. Do you now, when you know Shubman Gill is back, Shubman Gill is not just a walk into the squad, he's a walk into the 11 by dint of him being the captain of the side. Question marks over Yashasvi Jaiswal. Do you keep him? Do you let him go?
I think you may just have to let him go because if you're in a worst case, you need an opener. See, a squad is always constructed as such. And when you look at the number of people here, you've got 9, 10, you've got 15 people in the squad, right? Now, usually your squad will always feature specialist backup. So you may have a couple of all-round backup options. You'll need a pace bowling all-round backup, pace bowling backup for sure. And you may also potentially need one batting option. But if you have to, would you rather not keep a middle order batter? And that's where things get really tricky because I could totally keep a middle order batter in my 15 and remove a Jaiswal. Because in a worst case, if an injury happens to an opener, I can push KL Rahul up top. KL is an opening option. So I think, unfortunately, a Jaiswal misses out. I do. Because I think Rohit picks himself, so does Gill, so does Virat.
And if I'm not wrong, Ruturaj also scored a century, right?
Ruturaj scored a century and also is a top order option. Technically, he can open the batting as well.
Exactly, because he wasn't opening.
No, he was playing at number 3. He was playing at 4, sorry. He was playing at 4 in place of Shreyas. Yeah, 3 was Virat, my bad.
Exactly.
He was playing at 4.
I'm just looking at it this way, and I think because when you look at Yashasvi, I was extremely happy with the fact that he made a statement by scoring that century again. Very less doubt when it comes to his credentials in any format of the game for that matter. But just that the queue is such at the moment, Yashasvi unfortunately doesn't find a place. And for me as well, perhaps I'm keeping a Ruturaj who gives me some sort of an option of playing in the middle order if need be than a Jaiswal. Because if I'm looking at Jaiswal for the future, Jaiswal's only opening for me. I'm not pushing Jaiswal down the order.
Exactly.
That I'm very, very clear about. So while I hate doing this, for me as well, I think Jaiswal will miss out tomorrow. And the likes of Virat, Tilak, KL, Pant, a bit 50-50, but yeah.
See, Pant is a major one because we've been hearing a lot of chatter that he could potentially be out of the team. But if he's out of the team, then that means they bring in another keeper. Who could that be? Ishan again?
Ishan.
Because again, if you go back to when Ishan was last in the squad, that was about 2023-ish. Then also he had readapted and was playing as a backup to KL, who was batting at 5-6. That means Ishan is also willing to bat at 5-6 if it means being part of the team. So if that was to be the case, I think you may see an Ishan, if what we're hearing is true, then you might just see a Pant out. I think Pant is another interesting one to keep an eye on.
Pant's in a battle I see with Dhruv Jurel.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Jurel's an interesting case because, and we'll discuss this more when it comes to, if there are any wild cards that can be picked, because there's a lot of players who have been having very good Vijay Hazare Trophy seasons.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time in ages I've seen the List A competition get this much attention.
There's this bulk of, runs.
We know why. It's not just because of bulk of runs. It's because of Virat and Rohit were playing. Let's be fair.
That set aside, I'm saying there's just been too many runs for my liking.
Yeah, I think you're getting supremely flat as a pancake kind of conditions because everyone is managing to get runs. But I mean, look, I can't blame the batters. They're doing the best with what they're given. If I'm getting flat conditions and if I have the ability, if I'm a Dhruv Jurel who can score a 100 ball 150, I'm going to take it. I will take that option. He too, by the way, is someone who can absolutely, take attack because people tend to often associate him with being a test batter, but he has a pretty decent record for the Rajasthan Royals as well. Very attacking batter when it's needed. I think he's also someone who you could look at as an all-format player. It's just unfortunate you can't really fit him into the squad or even the 11.
T20 cricket, it may just be a perception issue.
Yeah, because he's only played test cricket on a regular basis. That's the perception issue.
And yeah, see, these are list A numbers. These are not T20 numbers. You know, when you look at certain players, you think they're very textbook, and so test, ODIs, these are the formats that suit them the best.
Yeah.
Devdas numbers and list A, as you were pointing out, very, very good. Do I see him playing the shortest format as well?
It's funny you mentioned the shortest format because if you're looking at Devdutt Padikal's domestic numbers, and we can show them those numbers now, Pawan, this year in the Vijay Hazare Trophy, he's been phenomenal. And if you're thinking, oh, this is an aberration that, in 4 games he's got 406 runs, averaging 101.5. By the way, what makes that even more impressive, not a single not out. So that 101.5 is his pure average. There is no not outs to boost that number. But he's never gotten close to an ODI cap. In fact, he's been capped in T20 cricket. He's been capped in Test cricket. He's got 2 caps in both. He's never gotten an ODI cap. And ODIs are his best format. Why do I say that? Because again, if you look at his career numbers in List A, if his overall List A numbers, look at that. 36 games, over 2,000 runs, 2,364 runs to be exact. Average of 81.5. Are you kidding me? 81.5 in today's day and age. That's crazy. And even here, by the way, there's not that many not outs. I think he's got like 4 career not outs. So that's not an awful lot. But his conversion rate is brilliant. He's got 12 50s and 12 hundreds. That's an amazing conversion, right? So his numbers are stupendously good. Like stupendously good. I'm surprised that he's come nowhere close to the reckoning. And it just shows that we don't really value our domestic cricket that much.
Yeah, again, I think, Shane, it also has to do with the fact that your present team, the 15 odd that you can think of for the ODI team, it's just so set.
No, it is, but so it is. It's fair, but then how does a Tilak walk in?
There is so little room.
Tilak is someone you're seeing. It's again the perception game.
Yeah.
That, he's an attacking batter in the IPL. Bats well in the middle order, so we can make him. That's not a slight on Tilak. I'm a big fan of Tilak Verma. I do think he's someone who can be, if not an all format, then at least a white ball great batter for India for sure. My point is then Tilak is also selected basis perception, and what works against DDP, rather unfortunately, has been his lackluster IPLs for the past few years. That's where also it really comes down to it. Perception game also matters. It also matters how your IPL goes. Why is it that a Sarfaraz Khan has been doing impressively this year in the S-Mat, even the Vijay Hazare, he got a 115 the recent game against Goa. Got a 150 and it was very attacking. He went at a strike rate of over 200. He hit 9 fours and 14 sixes in that match. So he's hit more sixes than fours. So again, an attacking batter, but unfortunately again perception works against him. With Sarfaraz, the perception always has been, test, red ball. You've dropped him from red ball also, that's a different debate to be had. Perception is the key because again, a Jarrell 160 for a UP side that is pretty strong. Also, by the way, someone who's been quietly impressive for UP in the VHT, Rinku Singh. Another player who I always see is, unfortunately, talking perception, everyone sees him as a T20 finisher. He's averaging over 40 in red ball cricket for crying out loud. Sai Sudarshan can play for India with a 36 average, and this man with a 40 plus average is struggling to get in. He's not even close to a call-up. So I think perceptions, it's a bit of a ranty sort of a thing, but I do think that perceptions do play a great part in what it is, what format you get called up, because basis pure numbers, we see a lot of these guys deserve perhaps different format chances, but they're not getting it. This VHT itself has kind of been proof of that. Gaikwad got a good 100, but of course Gaikwad has been seen as a good white ball player for some time. Gaikwad got runs. Injury free for him is key. Then Sarfaraz got runs. Jarrell, of course, as we say, pitch and roll is a test specialist, but he's got good white ball numbers. Very impressive white ball numbers.
Any other
Sadly,
names?
though, do you see any of these guys actually getting close to a call-up in ODI?
Which is why taking a look at your previous ODI series squad against South Africa makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because that just tells you that you really don't have a lot of room to bring in new folks. That's
You
the thing.
just don't.
Because let's say Devdutt Padikkal, for conversation for that matter, I like his numbers. There's no way you can't like those numbers. How do you fit him in? Who do you take out?
Exactly.
Can you take out Yashashvi? You can't. Can you take out a Rutraj? No, he's been in the pipeline for way too long.
Exactly.
And now he's shown that he can be flexible as well. He can bat wherever the team requires him to bat. So when there are these characters already in the team and a Shubman Gill returns, then it just becomes more and more difficult for you to make a comeback.
I think in ODIC you have so much experience
Yeah.
that it makes it tough anyway. Even for the settled 11, we tend to forget that a KL Rahul basically had to be given a position at 5 because you realized that you wanted to open with Gil Rohit. He then adapted his batting to number 5 and it turned out that, he can actually bat very well there. But even to bring in someone like a KL, you needed to make changes.
Yeah.
And
You
even
needed
that change...
You needed the Asia Cup for that.
No, you needed also Rishabh Pant, the accident. If it didn't happen, that didn't happen, KL may not have actually been in your 11.
True.
Because if Pant was batting, Pant could have been batting at 5.
Yeah.
You could have actually gone through to the ODI World Cup with that lineup. It's
Yeah.
very interesting to think about in hindsight. See,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the thing. So even there, once KL, and no taking nothing away from KL, he got the chance, he made the most of it. But even him, he needs that. If you're looking at, we're talking about, are we naming Shreyas in this squad?
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing, right? How do you name him?
Perhaps not. Perhaps not. If I am the BCCI, I'm perhaps looking at that second match as well for him to undergo. Also, it's a simulation match.
Yeah.
It's not proper competitive cricket per se. It's just a simulation match. The last player I can think of who entered the team basis simulation match or some simulation matches was KL Rahul. 2023
Asia Cup.
Exactly, but back then things were so different. Now you need to show your motivation, etc., play domestic cricket.
Correct.
That was set for Ishan Kishan, I remember, that you need to show the desire to play in domestic then. And going by that logic and the fact that there is no rush per se, are there any doubts about Shreyas Iyer? I think his position this position in the squad is pretty much deserved. It's like him leaving a hanky on the chair. Exactly. Which nobody can come, which is basically a sign of the seat being occupied. So in his case, I believe the seat is pretty much occupied. Yes, you can try out less as you did. You want to try out Tilak this time. I'd love to see that, but how do you then put somebody like Rutraj on the side? So that is something you can try out, but otherwise not really.
It's funny. I would actually name him.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. I would say keep him in there, subject to fitness. If you find that you need to make the change, it's a home series. You don't need travelling reserves. There's someone who can just be named instantly as a replacement. No problemo whatsoever. I do think, the fact that his recovery has been as rapid, I think even the 5th thing, they'll just wait for that and they'll put an asterisk and say that once that's confirmed, then that asterisk is removed. I think they want him to have good run of matches as well, because again, you're talking about futures and everything. The number 4 slot might very well be available in T20I cricket after the T20 World Cup. You never know. What if this is indeed Sky's last tournament? Done with the T20 World Cup, and then he's done with captaincy, done with international cricket. You never know. And then the most obvious choice there would be his good Mumbai buddy Shreyas.
Yeah.
It'd be the most obvious choice. So I would want to see him get some consistent game time in. And don't forget, he's also exempted himself from playing red ball cricket pretty much. So I think I'd see them name him. I don't know, it's a prediction, I could be wrong. But I think they'll name him and put an asterisk saying subject to fitness.
An asterisk, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course. It's not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. But they'll put that asterisk and say
but
subject
for
to
the sole
fitness.
reason I think you're not looking at this ODI series with a lot of context.
Obviously not.
There is a lot of context to the T20I series, to the ODI series, not a lot of context and meaning. those that want to make a statement again, especially under the tutelage of Shubman Gill, you'd want to go. Shubman Gill will be very hungry to get runs and get those wins. He needs to get the support back, regain the lost support, I would say, because there's quite a few things that have gone against Shubman Gill. So yeah, perhaps I'll wait it out. I know there's not any ODI cricket after this for a while now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I'm in any rush it's different. Like with Rohit Virat, the fact that they play only one format now, there was legitimate enough reason for you to be wanting to see them pass the eye test, wanting them, you just as a stakeholder, perhaps be assured that that the magic isn't gone. And no amount of cricket ever does harm, right? And you're now just playing one format, and that means and 2 months of IPL, but besides that there's no competitive cricket. So with them, I totally get that logic. With Shreyas though, nothing imminently that I need to take care of. No questions about fitness per se after he fully recovers. The motivation shouldn't be in question. He's the leader of an IPL team as well, took them to the final. So all the good signs, basically.
I see. That's the thing. I think you can go either way. That's why even when I was asking, I myself was trying to figure out, like, you don't need to name him. But knowing how much the BCCI likes sticking with what works, I think they may just say, okay, we'll put this asterisk there, keep him in the squad. If he can't clear that second match, no problem. We've got enough talent anyway. So replacing with one player, I don't think will be too hard. But I think, see, that's the thing with this India side when it comes to ODI cricket. It is impossible to bring in someone new if you want to, because it's too settled a unit. The amount of talent that you've got and the kind of settlement you have is insane, because the squad, if you look at it, has barely changed that much since 2023. Been a few changes here or there, sure, but by and large the core remains very, very settled, and it would be a very big surprise to me if they even make any major changes in this series. Very big surprise.
I totally agree with you. Not in the bowling department as well. There wasn't any Jasprit Bumrah back then. You're not going to be seeing Jasprit Bumrah now.
Same with the Hardik, I think. I don't think you're going to see a Hardik. You will wrap that man in cotton wool and keep him fit for the T20s.
World Cup. Yeah.
So I do think, you're not going to see those players. And there has been plenty of chatter that they're not going to be playing the series, which, let's face it, I entirely understand. Given the rather congested nature of the cricketing calendar nowadays, it's very, very important that we rotate players, especially those who've had an issue of long injury layoffs. Bumrah, has had those on a couple of occasions. Pandya seems to pick up an injury or two per year. Poor guy. But he's so vital. They're so vital to your squad that you need them fit in whatever format is the focus format of the year. And the focus format for this year is T20s. So once this T20 World Cup is done, then you're resting them from the T20s.
But it's funny how quickly this whole focus will be gone.
It'll be gone very quickly.
1 month you're into the World Cup, and then...
Yeah, but then after that also, see, it won't be that gone, because they'll be, for a fact, they'll be playing a lot of IPL cricket. Their rest and load management won't come into play. The franchises, as Rohit Sharma says, owns the players. And even if they're not making the playoffs, 14 matches so you will play unless there's injury issues. So, I do think you'll see them in action there. But, I think to address the point which we had been asking in the title of our dugout, I highly doubt you're seeing any surprise picks. Where do you put them?
I'll just be a little surprised if I see Shreyas over there. I'm already surprised to note that he's hit the road to recovery rather quickly, or he's been treading on the road to recovery rather quickly. So that's a good thing. But to see him play or feature in this 15, I'll be a bit surprised. Though pleasantly surprised, I must say.
Pleasantly surprised, I agree, because the rate at which I kept saying, the rapid rate of knots at which he's recovered has been astounding, to say the least. This is a player who, lest we forget, missed an entire 2023 IPL season because of back problems, and then took an eternity to come back to fitness for the ODI World Cup side. So, again, it will be very surprising that the injury, this thing comes up. But I do think you're not expecting too many surprises come January 3rd. That press conference, I fear, will not be as explosive as the one that took place, when was it? December 20 or December 18th or 19th. And unfortunately
it was Aston who had jinxed their, good run in the first leg of this season but they take their revenge with a very impressive 4-1
A very good win. 4-1 thrashing. And much as it pains me to say, I'll have to agree, this really does look like I'm getting 2019-20 vibes when it came to Liverpool. So everything is falling in their favour. And yeah.
Don't remind.
Ugh.
That horrid final as well.
Oh, yeah.
Ajib Agarkar.
I love that username.
Some things don't change.
Yeah. He says, I played for Australia for 15 years, own a $4 million house, married an Australian woman, yet I'm a victim. Guess who am I? That's a very unfair assessment of things. Money isn't everything, Mr. Agarkar.
Yeah.
If he's felt that he was, in fact, targeted by sections of the media, ex-players, I do tend to agree with some of that. I've seen some of the criticisms, and they're a little unfair. So, anyway. Let's see. Then we've got Sarachandra Yaramarthi, who says, from Chelsea manager being sacked to KKR issues to Chelsea facing Haaland in 2 days. What a start for you, Shane Sir, of this year. Amorim is so lucky, and it's shocking that Enzo got sacked before him and Slot. I agree on all of that. It's been a roller coaster start, and it's going to be only busier as the year goes on. So I wonder how it is that that goes. Let's see. GM Kapil Dev, my oh my. Says Shami and Sanju are seriously unfairly treated in ODIs. Sanju moved from second to third keeper after 100 in SA once Pant was fit. Then fourth suddenly with Jarrell in. Now fifth as Kishan may come in for Pant. Injustice. It's a good point because again Sanju batting a lot of games at number 5. His ODI average is around 55, 56.
Very good.
Good numbers.
Have to recheck.
Yeah, I think he's averaging 56 in ODI, so that's crazy. I don't think the sample size is that massive, but still, if you've got that kind of an average, you can understand why it is that, they are, his fans are crying injustice. Yeah. I totally understand. Let's see. Sachin Tendulkar, joined by all the luminaries, says, so excited for Shami Bhai's returns. His World Cup numbers are Bradman-esque. He deserves a spot in Test 2, a true legend of Indian cricket who's been unfairly treated. Shami, by the way, is another one who there's been a big spotlight on. And again, 8 wickets he's gotten in 4 VHT games. And in the SMAT, 7 matches, he got 16 wickets. So he's doing the business in domestic cricket, no two ways about it. And not to forget that I think he got about 10-11 wickets in the Ranji as well. So he's been doing well. If the message to him was play domestic cricket and show your fitness, he's done both those things. Both of those things. Nashli is for some reason taking a dig at one of our producers. I have no idea why. But scroll down, Pawan. Syed Nazamuddin says Mohammad Shami will make a comeback for the ODIs in New Zealand. I would love that to happen, honestly. I'll still not forget the second half of that World Cup where that beautiful seam positioning and swing from Shami was just bamboozling everyone, whether it be Sri Lanka, South Africa, England, of course, everyone.
How does one
Ben Stokes.
Forget the Ben Stokes. Exactly. Completely had him on the floor.
Exactly. Scroll slightly around. I want to take freaking Awesome's comment. He says that I was among the few who supported Shami even when he was struggling after his return from injury. And I think that's fair because I think with Shami, he's always been a rhythm player. He takes some time to get going after he comes from an injury because I remember...
Diesel engine.
He's a total diesel engine. He looked very patchy in the Champions Trophy.
Yeah.
Looked even worse in the IPL. But now that he's gotten that decent run of cricket under his game, seems to be looking much better overall. Yeah. Let's see. Anshu Mishra says that, Shane, I was confused whether Michael Phelps is the greatest athlete of all time. So today I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was in doubt between Jordan and Phelps. Finally, they chose close first Jordan and second Phelps. Look, you have to remember where the nationality biases also come in a bit here. ChatGPT, I'm sure, was invented by an American. So I have great respect for Michael Jordan, but if you're talking purely an individual athlete, I think for me, Phelps, Bolt, etc. kind of pip him. Freak human beings. Freakish human beings.
28 odd medals, yeah.
Across what, 3 or 4 separate Olympics? 3 separate Olympics. It's madness. Yeah. No, Phelps is on a different planet.
Yeah.
Priyanshu with a question for you. Please go for it.
I'm not taking it.
Freaking awesome though says that hope they'll go for Sanju and Sai again. They haven't done anything wrong. They performed really well in ODIs in the limited opportunities they got. Shami's our best ODI bowler. He has to play. I don't know about Sanju. Sai also, by the way, we've heard that he's currently at the COE.
COE.
So he ended up picking up a bit of a rib fracture. It's the 7th rib that he's gotten fractured.
On the right side.
On the right side of his body. But so I don't think a Sai comes in. But
yeah, in terms of form, Sai has been in good form. You're right.
Dev Pratap Singh John makes an interesting point. He says, one of the biggest reasons for big scores in the Vijay Hazare Trophy is strange grouping. Like Mumbai with Sikkim, Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh and all. See Delhi's group, it has all quality opponents. So all the scores are in the 273. That's interesting. That's a very interesting point.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do agree, this random grouping at times can lead to some anomalies. I remember, I think it was, who was it? Yeah, Narayan Jagadisan in 2022 towards the fag end when the VHT was taking place. Got a double 100 and all. Ended up getting picked by KKR in the auction. Did absolutely nothing in the IPL. But a lot of players will use these opportunities to, for lack of a better word, stat pad.
Yeah.
So you do get these kind of games. And I remember, I think it was Sikkim only was that match where Rohit scored that 150. Those bowlers seem like lambs to slaughter when facing him. And this is a guy who makes international level bowling attacks look ordinary.
Yeah.
Poor Sikkim bowlers. I was also wasn't thinking what you've set us up for over here. Yeah.
Mujhe ab ghar jana hai, that meme.
Exactly. Full on that. Sarath also being very naughty. Everyone's in the mood.
What Sarath saying?
See, look at the middle comment over there. You'll see it. Low. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. I can't take that, but soon, very soon.
Yeah.
I think that's
we've
it.
taken these, I think.
We've taken all of these. Yeah, a lot of them are repeats
come
also.
right to the bottom
always.
now, Pavan.
And I think even right at the bottom, we are pretty much just done and dusted. Yeah, we're done. Huh?
Yeah.
Shall we then?
Okay then. So the first edition of the year 2026,
It's in the books.
dugout is done and dusted. But it's only the first of the hundreds of dugouts that we'll be doing with you guys.
A lot of dugouts, a lot of match points because there's so many matches.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah,
plenty
good
going.
start. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing your thoughts with us. Pleasure as always. We look forward to being, here in the studio at this time of the day.
Yeah.
We
Tuned in
already
with you guys.
Tuned in with you guys and are reserved for it already. And we see you now. Same time tomorrow. Remember, Sunday you have the.
No, we won't. Not tomorrow. No.
Tomorrow? Oh, it's Saturday. Yeah,
it's Saturday.
Working day for me. So yeah, I forgot. We don't see you guys tomorrow.
We'll see you next on Monday.
We now meet next week. Monday it'll be. You'll have Nikhil back in the studio by that time, and hopefully it'll be the trio joining us here. Minus Siddharth Vishwanathan. He says he's a busy man. He doesn't want to come back.
He's checking out farmers.
he doesn't want to return. So
He's checking out
hopefully
farmers. Apparently also getting married a second time. I don't understand how that was happening.
He's done that again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
For the amount he cries about it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Anyhow, we will take that conversation off camera now. See you guys next week now on Monday, and lots more videos already up on Sports Day.
Yeah.
Look forward to bringing you more content over the weekend. If you're a new watcher of this channel, we humbly request you to go ahead, tap that bell, tap the subscribe button, and we see you now very soon. Bye bye. Thank you. Nandri, Shubhratri, Shabba Care, eat your vegetables.
Don't trouble your mothers and subscribe to Sports Today. Bye bye.